Hi, Guido Fox here. Welcome by a new spiritual book report. Today I want to talk with you about this book. This Zen is not a teaching. Zen is an alarm to wake you up. Uh, it's a book about Zen, but there are a lot of society analysis here from Osho. What I want to discuss with you, very interesting analysis, and of course, analysis about enlightenment and spiritual awakening, because Zen is not a teaching. Zen is just a method to wake you up, to awakening, to spiritual awakening, to enlightenment. That is what Zen actually is. So Zen is method, a method to opening up, and not a teaching. And teaching is more that you are listening and incorporate some things, but Zen is really a direct method to open yourself up and find the ecstatic line into yourself. That is in a short term, short summary, what Zen actually is. Alarm to wake you up. It's alarm, right? So it's very necessary. It's very necessary in the world to awake. Also necessary for persons to awake because they stay unhappy, they stay in their mind, they stay in conflict with themselves and also conflict in the world. So people are never at ease. Osho writes a lot about at ease. So people are not at ease for so many times, and they're disturbed. They're disturbed in their mental psyche, and they're unrestful, stressed, and never come to peace. So Zen is an alarm to wake you up, to make you more aware. That is in the short term summary what Zen actually is. I want to discuss with you the first topic, and I think that is very interesting to talk about, and that is about our sexual suppressed society. And since humanity starts, we are still living in a very sexual suppressed society, and I think it's important to mention and talk about this subject for some while, because that is for most people it's something normal what they're doing, but it is actually not normal, and it's also undiscussed. It's something where we don't talk about. And therefore I want to talk about this more deeper. Nowadays, and in history, it was always the case that you are single, or you have a relationship. That is the standard. So you are single and you make love around. You have one night stands, two night stands. You have short-term affairs. You have people where you only make love with, kind of fuck buddies. I don't like that term. And you have emotional relationships. And that's the tastes where you can choose from, right? Or it comes on your path, of course. But since the evolution, since human people are walking around, it was always the case that you had at a certain moment you find someone where you have an emotional connection, and you get children from, and you are ready to bond, and you call that a relationship. And in that setting, it is not normal to make love with other people. Still. So when you are in a relationship and you look to your parents as example because you are influenced with 20 to 25 years of parental conditioning, and also thousands of years of DNA evolutionary conditionings, it's always normal that if you have a girlfriend, you don't cheat on her, or you have a boyfriend, you don't cheat. I don't like the word cheat, because then you say actually what you're doing is not normal. And actually it is normal to make love, to get energy from some other energies and resources, because we are living in a lovable world full with touchings and compassion. So the word cheating is actually a wrong word in a wrong setting, in a wrong concept. So it is still not normal that you go with others when you are in a relationship with someone. So making love with others is not allowed, and if you do it, you call it by yourself cheating, and you hide it for your partner. Of course, women are feeling everything, so they know that there's something going on, or whatever. And also women are cheating on men, sometimes more than the other way around. Women are more emotional cheaters, or they go on holiday and meet some guy for a one-time shot. But the normal situation and the normal spiritual situation is that you are completely open to each other, with whom you go. You can say you have an emotional connection with someone, and you say, "Oh, I had yesterday a wonderful love with that person," and that's enough. You don't have to go in details, but you have to go, and that's where I am here. That you go to a higher spiritual relationship. So your relationships until now, I hope, were always society mediocre relationships. I'm sorry. You learn on the schools and from your parents only mediocre. Therefore, there are a lot of coaches who drag you above the line of mediocrity. So what I want is that you get a higher spiritual relationship, and not a mediocre influenced by traditional society relationships. So in a spiritual relationship, in an open relationship, you can work on your emotional connection. I discovered that. Very important. I have experience with open relationships, with close relationships, all kind of dynamics. So then I know where I talk about. A lot of people are only talk about their monogamy relationship for 30 years, and they think they have an awesome relationship because they don't know what's going on in other settings, or they have only one example, right? So a spiritual relationship is that you leave each other completely free, without jealous feelings, without jealous controlling mechanisms, and without possessiveness, without violence, without frustrations, without suppressing women or suppressing men in a relationship, or condemn or dominate. So in a spiritual relationship, you step out the mediocre society conditionings and emotions like jealousy, condemnation, condemn your partner, shouting on your partner, being jealous, frustrated, dominate your partner. So we step out that angry feelings, the jealous feelings from what society were given to you. So that's where I want that you go to that, to a spiritual relationship where everyone is free to do what he or she wants in her life and to explore her or his life on the way he or she wants. So that means no sexual suppression. You can do what you want in a relationship, in a so-called open relationship. So what I discovered is that you can create an emotional connection deeper and deeper with your partner. At the same point, if you have some familiarity and energy spikes around them, that's very favorable also for your relationship because you get more energy. You can transfer that energy to your relationship and you're overall more happy because you have more touchings from different people. And that makes you happy person to touch and to hug and to make love with other people stimulates your emotional relationship. And that's something new. That is something what never actually told to people from the evolution. Since the evolution and the traditional marriage dynamics. So that is the higher level of relationship, a spiritual relationship where everyone is open and free and there's no jealousy. So if my relationship is coming home and so I have wonderful love with that guy, that Eve, I say, oh, that's so wonderful of you. I love that you did that and I'm happy that you're open to me and let's cuddling together now, right? So freedom is everything because from freedom, love can exist. Love cannot exist from unfreedom. That's very important to understand, I think. So first freedom and then love. There's not love possible with an unfreedom feelings. And a lot of people, and I think the majority of people are sitting in this emotional, disturbing dynamics of a monogam relationship. They're living in the same house, they feel locked up, and they're not free to express their feelings. And they live a sexual, frustrated life, and that's the cause of misery, anger feelings. You're not happy in your work because of the sexual frustration. So a lot of mental diseases like stress, burnouts, bore-outs, depressions are related to our sexual frustrated life. That is important. So actually our so-called civilization is the cause of all mental diseases. Nearly all mental diseases are related to our sexual frustrated life. And of course, yeah, you can also be sexual frustrated if you are single. That is the most case. You have a certain amount of men, I think top 1%, who is making love around like crazy. But a lot of people who are single are actually sexual frustrated or have emotional problems to not opening up, and I should say get a dating coach or a life coach to support you and to become better in intimacy and sharing love. But the main point is here, of course, the spiritual relationship, what is much more a higher relationship than the traditional forms of relationship dynamics. And that's where you wrote about, or Shelf wrote on page 37, and That is the fantasy mechanism about our sexual frustrated society, a sexual suppressed society. He wrote, what happens in the ordinary world, so the ordinary ego, normal mediocre world, what happens in the ordinary world is that men and women has enough to imagine, to fantasize. So if you have a shortage on sex, you're going into fantasy and dreaming about, because society does not allow you to have many relationships with women and men, so only one woman or man. Of course, he was coming from India, so there's much more traditional influence. But what you're seeing here actually is that you're going into fantasy in the future and in imagination if you are sexual frustrated and you have not enough variety in your life. So that's also disturbing your work, right? If you're constantly fantasizing and reading the Playboy and watching porn and that kind of stuff, that's also always because of sexual frustration. So you're becoming more work efficiently if you have more variation in your love life. So, and you get tired, you get bored, right, of the fantasize and imagine, because there's no action there. You're staying in your mind, you're roaring in your mind. Your mind starts roaming around. All the women, all the men who don't belong to you look tremendous, beautiful, just stunning because they are not available. So people are not available because you're in a monogam relationship, then become very attractive to you because they're so far away. And that's also what happened in my monogam relationship of 5 years. You look to women, oh, it's not available because I'm in a monogam relationship, otherwise my girlfriend has gone away from me. I'm so scared, I don't want to lose her, so people become unavailable for you. And then you go in fantasizing, in dreaming, far and far away, and that's disturbing your work and your other stuff, your attention to your girlfriend. Your mind starts fantasizing, your mind goes into trips. So up to now you have lived in a deep slavery, a psychological slavery. So monogamy is from pressure from above, from political pressure in the past, and also religious pressure from the past to control humanity. So you don't want to have a group full of sexual frustrated men and some man has 200 wives around him. So this because of controlling the society more and more, and otherwise there comes a revolution. So monogamy was introduced by powers to control society, and maybe in that time period it was needed. But nowadays it is not needed anymore because you can have sex everywhere. You can work on yourself to have sex, and kind of big revolution of sexual frustrated men, I don't see it happen nowadays. Because that argument falls away. So there's no need to suppress or to introduce monogamy as a standard anymore. You have now also condoms, so there will be also no children involved by every action you take. And condoms are the greatest revolution material there is, nearly, because otherwise it was not possible, right? The system of open relationship and multiple wives and variety, because the price were very high when your seeds are in the women and she becomes pregnant. So nowadays with the condoms you can touch more without consequences, and the consequences you choose for a wife or a man who's fitting, and you think about it, will be a partner for long term, and then you can invest in a relationship with children. So one side we're going astray from nature, but the other side is that you can have more touchings in life, and that's only better because that creates more energy and more compassion in your energetic system. So there is also more favorable situation about the system of condoms and pills for women. But nowadays you are lived in a deep slavery in psychology, slavery, and what Osho was saying, women are most the victim of it. Women can have more men. They like to have more men in certain periods of evolutionary periods. They can easily have sex with more men, and because a man is empty a lot of times, right? It is a few times per week, and the man is very tired and cannot have a hard penis anymore. And women can receive and receive and receive. So actually, our women are actually the most psychological slaved person, and they didn't know that by themselves. They're the most suppressed of the two. The most suppressed of men and women are women. They're most sexual suppressed, and that is sometimes hard to see. When you get freedom in the beginning, you rush into madly. Yeah, so if there are free love, then you become first crazy and then you come at ease. And that's also what I had with social day love. At first, the candy store everywhere, girls rah rah and fuck around like crazy. And at a certain moment, you have ease, you have peace, you don't have to anymore. The conflict is out, and the ego is out of your system because you're living in abundance. So if you want to have sex or you want to have variety, I can go for it. It is not a need anymore. It's a want. I want it, then it comes. It's not a need from a survival need. And you have to pass that survival need. That is also a stage in your development. But with social day love, you can create a massive abundance of love in your surroundings, and it becomes a want and bonus in your life. And sexual abundance becomes not a need anymore. So men and women are actually alike, are quite the same in their sexual desires. They want to have both variety, but a lot of women we reject this thing. They imprinted by their parents and by society that one man is enough, and find a good man for you with a financial support, blah blah blah. And so they are more slaved and mental slaved than men are in this society. But the core issue here is that that people are staying in their mind, and they become roaring around, they become fantasizing, and that's actually not good because there's no action involved there. And then you stay in your mind, and you want to be here in the now and enjoying love at the moment. So that's disturbing your psyche totally in this sexual suppressed society. And I don't need to have naked women on the walls, right? With posters, what you see by construction workers, they have posters of sexual women on the wall or something. I don't need it, right? I'm not sexual frustrated. I don't need to watch Playboy. I don't need to watch porn because I don't need it. So there's no need for that anymore. So that's one deeper part about spirituality and relationships and suppressions, sexual suppressions in the society. Page 100. And there's Osho mentioning a very spiritual and very interesting topic is the light-footed and light step of a person. And when you see people walking, and I scan and observe so many people during the day, and even people who are overweighted can be light step on earth. A bigger step on earth, how more boof people walk. And if you're long or tall, you can do that, but also if you're very heavy, you can do that. Doesn't make sense. how more pushing on the earth, how more pressure on the earth, how more unhappy you are, how more heavy you are also mentally wise. So be more light-footed, light step, and tick the earth a little bit, tick, 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 and you will be more light-footed. And of course, with meditation, you're going higher and higher in your spiritual levels, and it's like zweven op de straat, and it is like waving, walking on water. That's you're much more light-footed and light-stepped than before, because you lose so much toxic garbage in your system. I mean, you're imprinted by 25 years of parental and toxic society conditioned, and you become heavy with it. So people are walking heavy on the earth. You can see, okay, they have so much mentally shit by them, so garbage, so full loaded with toxic material. They're so heavy on earth. And when you see if people are going more in meditation and about spiritual growth, they become more light-footed and light-step. And that's an interesting phenomenon you see in spiritual growth and spiritual evolution. 192, page 192. Undisturbed. Undisturbed, undisturbed, undisturbed. You're becoming much more undisturbed if you are moving in spirituality. You are centered. You are strong. You are so full of confidence if you find your Amrita Nadi line in the 7 centers in your body and you hold your line there. You're so centered, you're so happy, you're so peaceful, you're so compassionful. You're so brave. You think for yourself. You're self-dependent and undisturbed. The earth is moving, everyone is moving, everyone is stressed around you, is talking bullshit, and you're quiet. You're relaxed, you're undisturbed, you're peaceful, you're compassionate. I was remembering that I was in a kuurt, in a spa resort, and I took a sauna, and there was opgietingen, so people are placing at a certain moment water on the stones, and normally I had very quite difficulties to hold that for the moment, right? 20 minutes on the the highest level in the sauna, and I was sitting there. And normally I want to go out and I have cold water, so it's a challenge for me to hold that 20 minutes. And last time I was in the spa resort and I hold my line, I hold my chakra line, I was centered and it was easy going. It was effortless. So I sit there and the session was finished and I sit still on the bench there. Oh, it was amazing. Running is going easier now. Sometimes I had to stop with running, searching for breath, but now I can run. Even if I didn't train for 2-3 weeks, I can run easily hours and hours. So if you hold your line, it gives some tremendous power. The knack of meditation, the knack of inward journey. So you become much stronger, undisturbed, and you can hold the challenges more and more and more. And that is fascinating, right? That you are sitting in the sauna, people saying, oh, you have to do another round because you're sitting still there in the sauna. So that's very funny. From that undisturbed mood and from that undisturbed pattern, there exists a state of bliss. So this first undisturbed attitude, relaxing attitude, compassionate attitude, and then the state of bliss is coming there. You come to peace. It is first chaotic state, and then meditation. Slowly you come in higher spiritual levels. You come to higher spiritual levels of consciousness, and you become more aware and aware. And you go higher and higher and higher in spiritual states, and the state of bliss arising. Blissful arising, and your ecstatic feelings in your body becomes higher, and stronger. So first undisturbed attitude, And then the state of bliss is coming, is coming, is coming, is coming. So the activities you can do longer, and activities is what you can do with full concentration and more quality, and you can easily do it. Like the trainings. If I go to the gym, or I can do it now 1 hour and I'm fully aware, I'm fully in my line, I'm fully consciousness, I'm fully connected, and I do easily that 1 hour training. It's not a challenge for me anymore, huh? Normally you go to the gym and you do exercise 1, and then you say, oh my god, I have to do 3, 4, 5, 7, then home, and I do the wash and cleaning the floor, etc, etc. But now I'm enjoying really the exercise. I feel my muscles, I feel how I train. I look around to the people and be compassionate. So I'm really enjoying the moment. I'm really enjoying the exercise. So I live from exercise to exercise. I'm not living in the future that I do the exercise number 10. I have to go there, I have to go there. That's my goal, to finish the session, to finish the coaching session, to finish the gym session. No. I'm enjoying every moment of my life, every moment of the activity. I'm enjoying the machine who I take, the machine what I train. So that's the undisturbed feeling of life. Page 199, and this is a subject who is related to the subject I talked earlier with you about the sexual suppressed society. And you see now that with Tinder and with online dating that we come more and more to friendship sex. And so you have a friendship or a fuck buddy, I don't like that term, but friendship sex is the new form of meeting people as a friend and have their sexual pleasures with. Of course, both people want that. It's not kind of raping or something, but friendly sexual intercourse. And that is what Osho was writing in 1980, so it is like 40 years ago. He has that foresight already that it becomes more and more that way. So you have different friendships and you enjoy each other. And what happens is that you're stepping out of the ego world. That's what we're going to. If you move in spirituality, and humanity wants to go there, because raising up consciousness is a soul phenomenon. Your soul wants to go there, so humanity wants also to go there. So what you see is raising up consciousness is declining, dissolving the ego. So you go beyond ego society. So what happens in friendships, sexual relationships, is that you step out of fear, controlling, be too serious about relationships, about sexual suppression, possessiveness, domination. So friendship, sexual intercourse is very free, very chill, very relaxed, and sexual intercourse, of course, bonus for you. It's not a need, it's bonus. Sexual intercourse is bonus. It's not so important anymore. So the traditional way of sexual dynamics is that this kind of very important, right? Because you meet each other and then you go dating, and after 8 or 9 or 10 days, when you get married, then the women are open her legs to the guy because he invested so much, so he is a kind of trustful long-term partner. So, but that dynamics is really over. We with the condoms and the material, you can be open direct to each other, and if it feels good, you go further with that person. So in the future, you'll see that people are becoming more and more open to each other from the scratch, and then you see how the sexual intercourse is, and if it's good, you continue with that, and then the emotional connection can be built up, right? You can say 4 times sexual intercourse, and then we go together, have a round with a scooter, or we go walking. So You see the change from first emotional connection, then sexual intercourse will be around, will be turning around. We get more society where we're open sexual to each other. We scan, okay, is the body connection there? Is the soul connection there? Is the nature there? Very important. We'll go more back to the nature. And then you select it very fast. Because a lot of times people, you see in the past, right, that people are doing 10 dates and then the sex was horrible and the second sex also horrible and the third sex also horrible. So you invest 10 dates and you pay a lot for the money for the women, for the dates, and then you are love, emotional connection, and then the sexual intercourse is horrible. So natural wise you are not fitting. And that kind of situations will be avoided with this other kind of system in this busy world of much more variety, much more connection. In this fast world, you want to select very early in the process because otherwise it is time lose, and that's not the world we are living in. We get more and more 24 hours economy. More flexibility, much more changing with flights, whatever, you are on travel. So you want to select very early on the biological and natural system. So we are more and more turning around, I think, in the dating world, the mechanism. So first sexual intercourse in the short term, and then we go further with that, or we discover more an emotional connection. So friendship, sex will be more normal, more future, and we're going away from that possessiveness, marriage, from this my girl, and nobody can touch her. That's the old school mechanism of protecting your girl from other guys. That's old school. That's nature. That's ego. We are not going into mechanism. We're leaving each other free. Because I cannot interfere in the sexual identity of another partner. That's not my case. That's her case or him's case. I'm not protect my girlfriend for danger, of course, for violence. I want to do it, but if she wants to have sexual intercourse with someone, I cannot say anything about it because I cannot interfere in her sexual identity. That's up to her. Even look to other men can be also problematic. Yeah, that's what you see in the old traditional religious society. If a woman already look to other guy, she will be punished as hell. And that is hope where we can grow out. Or she cannot leave the house by permission of the man, or she has to be totally scarfed. Headscarfed because other men will always look to her or she to other men. So that's the society you don't want to live in, right? So you want to be completely open and free, and you can look to other men and look to other women in fully freedom. Of course, I shouldn't do it if you are with your partner. Behave a little bit, right? Because you're together. If you're together, you're together. You're together out. You're together home. But of course, you can look to other people if you are alone or whatever. But in some societies, it is not allowed to even look to other men or look to other girls, because then you are already mentally cheating. So that's already a cheat. Some cultures say that's a cheat. You are already mentally cheat on another person if you look already to someone else, and that's not the society where you want to go in. So that was a lesson about sexuality and society, Zen, state of bliss, undisturbed, light-footed, fantasizing, friendly sexual relationships, open relationships, and our mental diseases, depressions, they are really coupled to our sexual suppressed society, where it's not normal and not allowed that you can make love with others in a relationship with another person. So people are locked up. they're feeling prisoned, they enjoy no freedom, and if there's no freedom, there's no love. So up to a higher spiritual relationship, up to a spiritual society. Thank you for watching. I see you by the next video. Hi.